What up? What up? What's going on? What's going on, party people? Welcome back to the Yap session and a little bit of debauchery. Let's make sure everything's good. My D&D is on. Do not disturb because we love it. The bracelets are braceleting today. Yes, the necklaces are necklacing today. The wig is wigging because this is a wig. Wig. The tattoos are looking nice. They're looking good and fresh. Love all that. Mama like that. Mama like that. Y'all, this might be a silly one because today has been a day full of me quoting random shit from movies and TV shows and stuff that I like. Oh, look how the light reflects off of that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Come through, moth. There we go. Nice. That's perfect. I like that a lot. Something that I really like is how certain accents sound, and so I'll mimic them. I heard that it was called parroting. Like you parrot like a bird, like, you know, like you're parroting things back to people. And I do that a lot. As soon as I hear something and my brain goes, ooh, we finna repeat this every 30 seconds until we die. That's just what happens. All right, so before we really get into the yapping, you know the drill, grab some water. And if you're like, no, I don't want water, bitch, get some water. It's not that hard. Drink some water. 2 minutes and 2 seconds as I say that. You are made of 70+% water. If you're a person who tends to get frequent migraines and you're like, what's going on? Why do I be getting all these headaches? It could be a lot of things, but if you're making sure you get your water in, you can mark that off the list. You can be like, I know I'm getting my water in, so I don't have to worry about that. Water, it's the giver of life. Yeah, I'm feeling particularly silly this evening. I've had an amazing day. I hope your day has been good. I hope everybody's been feeling well. I hope the past hours since you watched my last video, or if you're new here, I hope all the time before you were right here with me in this moment. I hope all that time was good. And if it's not, I'm gonna make it better. She's all right. I'm better though. Here we go. But yeah, I'm just kind of in a silly, goofy mood. You're beautiful, you're amazing, you're handsome, you're good looking, you're sexy, you're out here doing the thing, or you're in your room doing the thing, or you're in your kitchen doing the thing, or you're in your car doing the thing. Whatever you're doing, I'm proud of you. 3 minutes and 23 seconds as I say that. 23 is one of my lucky numbers, so whenever I see it, I pause, and I'm like, oh, I see you, girl. So yeah, I hope you're doing okay. To those of you who have subscribed, welcome. To those of you who have commented, thank you. To those of you who've liked, I appreciate it. To those of you who've disliked any of my videos, I appreciate that too. Because any energy that you send my way, I'm going to just absorb that energy and I'm going to alchemize that shit and I'm going to use it. I'm going to make it neutral and I'm going to send it out into the universe. Because that's what we do here. I'm all about it. If you're new here and you're seeing all this shit, I am what we in the business call a spiritual bitch, meaning that I enjoy dabbling in the metaphysical and I'm a bit off my nut. I'm a bit off my rocker. It's the best way to live life, honestly. I think we're all a little crazy. We're all mad here. And you could be mad too. You could be crazy. Get in on this. Come, take my hand. Hop through the fucking phone and come be crazy with the rest of us. It's so great. It's so grand to be delusional. It's a wonderful state of being to be in because the sun shines brighter, the sounds are crispier, and the food tastes fucking amazing. So, I had a lot of confirmations today on things that I have been asking for and things that I've been looking forward to. I'm getting a lot of information that the man of my dreams is very quickly approaching me. And that's very interesting. I'm very excited. Something that I realized today is I've been asking for months for this person. It's been like a year that I've been wanting this person to find their way to me so that I can absolutely love and spoil them. And I'm going to call it what it is. I'm finna devour this person. I'm going to just take this person into myself, and I'm going to love every ounce of them as if they are an extension of my own body. I hope they're prepared. They're probably not, but that's okay. They don't have to be ready because I got them. But something that I realized that I'm being moved to share with you all is that when you ask for things and the universe understands what you're asking for, the universe also understands whether or not you are in the place, 6 minutes and 6 seconds as I'm saying this, it understands whether or not you are in the place to receive whatever it is you're asking for. So I've said in other videos, if you're a person who's like, I want to be a millionaire, and you're shit with money, or you have really toxic habits, such as eating really bad food, or doing certain drugs, or things of that nature, things that could harm you, then the universe goes, we're going to be working on bringing that to you, but while we do that, we're going to prep you for the thing that you're asking for. Because what you're actually asking for is the most harmonious way for that to happen. The most harmonious way. The quickest and most harmonious way. Harmonious meaning that it's going to make sense in the moment. It's going to flow in the moment. That is actually what we really want deep down. Because really, I believe that deep down we all are a part of this larger grid. We're all operating in different spaces, but we're all connected in a lot of different ways. Again, a lot of people think spirituality is mumbo jumbo, and some of the stuff that I've seen out here indeed is a little weird, but for the most part, I think that many people can agree that there is a large ecosystem, which is the planet, and that we are a part of it, and that we are all connected by being a part of that ecosystem. We're all inhaling and exhaling, we're breathing oxygen, we are walking, and the vibrations in our body and all of the sound that we emit is going out into the world and going out into the ether. I think we can all on some level agree that we are connected. And I love that. I love that so much. It's such a romantic and just wonderful and beautiful thing to think about, that we are all connected, because we are. But you are currently in the area where you are being prepped for those things. And I did not realize I am currently being prepped for my person. I am being prepped in such a way as to where I will be my most authentic self when this man shows up. I was watching a stream today. It was a Pezzy stream, and he was playing Prey. He's working on speed running it, and I played the game. I played quite a few hours of the game, and I love the sound design. It's pretty old. I think somebody in the chat said that the game was done in 2005, 2003, 2005, somewhere in there. And it's a really good game. I like the voice acting in the game. I love the sound design. I love the soundtrack. I love the animation. It's really, really good. And then the creatures that are in the game, if you haven't played the game and you want to play the game, I'm not going to spoil it, but the creatures are really nice. It's really cool. And it's set in space. It's set in fucking space where the stars and the planets are. Space is so cool. I always wanted to be an astronaut. It's something that I wanted to do. But the minute somebody was like, well, there's a lot of math involved, I was like, well, fuck all that noise. I'm not interested in the slightest. So I didn't end up being an astronaut. But every night when there's a clear sky, 9 minutes and 9 seconds as I'm saying this, so somebody somebody watching this video loves the night sky. You love the stars, you love seeing the moon, you love seeing the planets when they line up. You probably like constellations, or you like to go see meteor showers when you can, or you're interested in seeing the northern lights, aurora borealis, which I would love to see. That's like a dream of mine. One of my dreams is I would love to go on an Alaskan cruise, because those are super cool. And Alaskan cruises tend to be a bit calmer in nature because it's a bunch of, it's older people. And it's not like, woohoo, spring break. Like, it's not that type of situation. So I want to go on an Alaskan cruise, and I would love to go with my man, and I would love to see the Northern Lights. And something that I've been doing is in moments of like where I'm experiencing things for the first time, I whip out an earbud and I listen to music. So for New Year's, when we were watching the fireworks, I for like 2 seconds, because then the sound of the fireworks, I wanted to feel the like the explosion, like the booms, if you will. I wanted to feel all the booms in my chest. And so I took out my earbud for it. But right before it, I was listening to music that in that moment, it was just perfect for the moment. So going and seeing Aurora Borealis and listening to, there is an artist and he does like violin music. I don't know if I can, but I should put the Spotify link to this song in the description when I get done here, because it's beautiful. One of the songs he does is named Genesis. One is, I think, Into the Woods, and he's a violinist. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It'll make you cry. It'll make you cry. It makes me cry. But that's what I would like to do. I would like to go see those and listen to that type of music and just have a fucking blast. But anyways, I was watching that stream, and interestingly enough, the anxiety of being in chats is completely gone for me. Like, it's gone, and it's so great because the people who are in this man's chat, who are in the chat, had me fucking crying. I was in my bed, tears, and my sister was like, "Are you watching the stream? Is it really that funny?" And I was like, I mean, yeah, because he's hilarious. He's so fucking funny to me. He always makes me laugh. Like stitches in my side. I'm over here just about to pee myself anytime I see a video. But the chat really was killing me. Like, I think things when I'm watching movies, right? So like if I see a horror movie and somebody's like, well, you know, I know that you're saying you see ghosts, but I don't really believe you. So maybe it's all in your head. And I'm on the couch like, oh, so this bitch wants to die. And then if I were to be watching that with other people and somebody goes, oh, this bitch wants to die, that's the most amazing thing. 12 minutes and 12 seconds as I say that. So maybe you're one of these people where you love watching things or watching events take place with other people who are like your people. Like, I'm always going to comment on something that's happening. I love it. And so being in the chat and being able to engage with people has just been so great. It feels so good. And it's not a replacement per se, but it's been really nice because I don't typically go out like a whole lot to engage. Like, yeah, my sister, you know, goes to school and she has classes and I get invited out, you know, they're like, where's Yasha at? And I'm like, who, little old me? Y'all asking about little old me? No, but usually they'll invite me out and I go and I have a really, really good time. I have a really, really good time, but I don't always go because I know in my heart of hearts that my sister really enjoys having her friends, because growing up, my parents were very much so, if you're not nice and close to your siblings, you won't have any friends. So my siblings, we pretty much just had each other. We did not have a lot of friends growing up. And so now that everybody's kind of out on their own, my sister has her kids and she's living out where she's living. My brother is living, he's living where he's living. And then my sister and I are here, like, as we are all, bruh, this wig hair, gonna make me crash out. Stop. I hate how wig hairs are so dry. Like, it's like their whole point is to be kindling. I've been watching videos on Pinterest of proper wig care for cosplays, and I tell you what, it's so much. It's a lot. I was like, can't I just buy a new wig every time I want to? And it was like, does your bank account want to buy a new wig every time you want to? And I was like, why? Doesn't anyone love me? Doesn't anybody care about Sid the Sloth? What was I saying? I was yapping. I was talking my shit. Oh, but yeah, I enjoy going out with my sister's friends, but I also love when she can hang out with them and I'm not there all the time, because growing up, like, we were very, like, all of my siblings and I, it was very much so, like, all of our friends were each other's friends because our parents were very, like, y'all are gonna be close, which was a really interesting way to do that, but we are pretty close now, so I don't know. I can't really be too mad about it if I'm honest. But, so I enjoy her going off. So I'm just here. And by here, I mean at the house, chilling. And I'll be doing like little work and, you know, taking care of things, working on my vision board, you know, making these videos and stuff like that. And it's really cool. And I enjoy it. So being able to be in a chat, in a stream where people are live speaking to you is so cool. It's so nice. It's like immediate. It's like not even pen pals. It's kind of like immediate pen pals. It's like I make a joke in the chat, and it was funny because tonight I was really proud of myself. Like, I'm always testing out jokes. Like, I have jokes that come to mind and I'm like, I need to say this in front of somebody because I need to know if it's funny. Because like I'll say stuff and sometimes people laugh and the whole room falls out and I'm like, yes, I did it. I'm funny. I'm Gucci. And then sometimes I'll tell a joke and it's like crickets. And I'm like, ooh, failure. Do not tell dumbass joke ever again. Never. But it's cool because in the chat, like, I'll say stuff and I'll tell jokes and I'll make comments. And then I actually had some people respond to me tonight. I made a joke and it was a banger. It hit. And I was like, yes. And by a banger, somebody replied and laughed. And of course, I'm kind of like, I feel old because I was like, why are they using this, what was it? I think it was KEKW. I was like, why is everybody saying that? Is that a good thing? And I asked my sister and she was like, you are so old. And I was like, I'm just not chronically online, so I don't know what things mean. And she was like, it's an emote. It essentially means that people think whatever you said was funny or whatever the thing is funny. And I was like, oh, so we don't be using laughy faces in the stream? I use laughy faces in the stream. I'm so old. I'm like, I'm going to use what is familiar because I know it's not going to offend anybody. It's a tried and true method. You know, it's relatively safe. It's good. Damn, I am burning up in here. I am just too hot to trot. No. But, yeah, so I had a really good time doing that. And then, it's really funny because Pezzy will say, like... Like, he'll say things and he'll do voices, and I'm just over here in the room, like, parroting the voices because I think it's funny. And I do the same thing with my family. I do the same thing with my friends. Like, what's my sister? My sister quotes, like, she has so many different quotes. Like, one is, again, from the Quado episode of Rick and Morty, and she's like, it was me. I betrayed my whole species, and I do it again. No, I had so much more to reveal. Like, she does that. She does that really good. And then, of course, my whole family is always quoting movies. My mom and dad growing up, they would say lines from movies, and then they would say movie trivia, and they'd yell it out, or they would text it. And it's funny because, like, so that's what we're doing all day. So my dad will come into the room and be like, as you wish. Movie trivia. And then I'm like, Princess Bride, bro. Give me a more difficult one next time. Don't test my gangster. But, so, like, one of the things that was just killing me tonight on the chat was, it's like when you hear something and it's mispronounced or somebody mispronounces it and then people just keep saying it. I can't remember exactly how it was said. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to sound stupid as fuck. But it was a good time. It was a good time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Ooh. When I go to crack, like, my, I guess whatever bones are right here, like the connected to the collarbone. That's something I really appreciate is my collarbones. I like them. I believe these were passed down from my mother's side. And I would just like to thank the ancestors for providing me with delectable collarbones. They're very nice. They're very nice. In my last video, I told you all that I would love for you to find something about yourself that you find attractive, and when you look in the mirror, I want you to compliment it. And it's gonna feel like a lie at first if you're not used to complimenting yourself. But this is how we build self-esteem, my love. This is how we love on ourselves, and this is how we stomp the fuck out of those doubts, those personal doubts. Because those aren't ours. Those were placed upon us by jealous hoes, by haters, if you will. So that's why we stomp those out. We don't appreciate that. We don't appreciate that at all. But Yeah, so I did that. It was really cool because I actually had somebody, my dad was like, hey, so I've got, my dad is doing his PhD. And I'm so proud because this was the man back in the day who was like, fuck school, fuck a degree, I don't care about any of that shit. He was like, they could kiss my ass. And I was like, I support you, Dad, yeah, bump them. Because I believe he dropped out at one point, but then he went back and he was like, no, you know what? I care about school now. Like, I care about gaining this knowledge. Like, I'm trying to get my knowledge up. And I was like, Dad, I'm so proud of you. And so he has his bachelor's, he just received his master's, and he is signed up to get his PhD. I could not be prouder. I could not be prouder. If you all knew my father, you would be proud too, because this man really is one of my biggest inspirations in life, because he went from being in the past a complete dick. This man was the worst, and he knew it. He understood. Like, he got it. And then at some point, he was messaging me and was like, hey, yo, so I realized I'm very angry. Like, I have a lot of anger towards my parents. I have a lot of anger towards my family members from when I grew up. I have a lot of anger towards life in general. And so I'm going to get an anger management book and start working through it. And then I realized very soon after that I also had anger management problems. And I was like, hey, yo, bro, you trying to go on this anger management healing journey together? And that shit was amazing. So 21 minutes and 23 seconds as I say that. So if you're a person who is struggling with something, reach out to groups, potentially online, and see who is dealing with similar things that you are dealing with, and then lock into those people, because really those people are going to get you more than other people will probably get you. My sister was telling me, she was like, yeah, I saw this video on TikTok, because she's on TikTok. She said she saw this video, and in the video there was a dad and his toddler had Down syndrome, and so he was strapping his kid into the car, and then another dad walks by from the school and his kid also had Down syndrome, and they kind of pointed at each other like, hey, like the Spider-Man meme, and then they were like, we gotta lock it in, we gotta be friends, play date, like, let's get this going. And I feel like it's similar when you have struggles or when you have pain, and the way that you cope. If you can find people who cope in similar ways to you, I think it's magical. Like, for me, anytime I have had like serious like trauma or triggering events or like really fucked up shit happen, I joke. I am very much so a dark humor person. I do not share all of my dark humor publicly online because some of it, it might make people uncomfortable. But that is how I cope. It's one of the ways that I cope while I am processing through and working through things. And so my family's amazing because they all process the same way, with the exception of my mother. My mother does not process with dark humor. She's different. I love her. She's a cornball. But my dad and all of my siblings were very dark humor people. And it's so nice to be going through things and then to be able to talk to people who share similar coping mechanisms and then who also share similar issues, and then we can process together. And again, lean on our community. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. So seek out communities. And it might be a bit nerve-wracking at first. If you're a person who doesn't usually go out of their way, if you're like a more introverted person and you're like, yeah, I would just prefer to just take all of that shit and just stuff it down as deep as possible and never come out. I get that, but you would be shocked at how much better you will feel speaking out loud the things that bother you. And sometimes it really helps to speak those things out loud, because when you hear it spoken out of your own mouth, things make more sense. Or you're like, why would I think that? That's dumb as fuck. That's a dumb thought. And you can kind of review, and you can internalize and review for yourself. It's fucking amazing. I fucking love it. So that's part of the reason why I really enjoy having my, tiny coven of girlies who I can message and be like, hey, yo, does anybody have, the space for me to talk about some fuck shit going on in my life? And then I literally hit them with walls of text, or I do voice memos because I like to yap. And then they'll hit me back with information. Either they'll say, yeah, you're kind of being ridiculous right now. Get your head out of your ass. Or they'll hit me with the hype up, or they'll hit me with questions, and it's just a great environment to be in. Honestly, if I were you, 24 minutes and 44 seconds as I'm saying this, if I were you, I would seek out that type of foundation. The number 4 in numerology represents foundations. And so we're talking about community, so seek out a community. Lock it in, bro. Lock it into the community. I feel like I'm in church and I'm sweating. You better speak it, Pastor. You better speak it. You better tell them about themselves, even though we all headed to the club after church. That's always how I felt it was. It was funny because I actually like Friday nights because, again, I was raised Seventh-day Adventist. And though I'm not anymore, I still understand the jokes when I see them online. People will be talking about their experiences with the church. And I remember Friday night, when I was growing up, I would go to the skating rink because my grandparents were very staunch, religious, but my parents were not. It's actually funny because for those of you that don't know, Seventh-day Adventism is like a sect of Christianity. And so my parents were actually, they called themselves Sadventists because they did not follow like the rules, the tenets, if you will, so tightly. So my family was actually really big into roller skating. I had my own skates at one point. I would really like to get back into it because it was really great. I never properly learned how to truck. I would love to learn how to truck. And I always wanted to learn how to roller skate backwards. And as a child, it would have been so great to learn it then, but now I would really like to go and get my own roller skates and I would learn to truck. I almost feel similar about bowling. I love bowling. Bowling's expensive these days, but I would love to get my own bowling ball and have my personal bowling shoes and come in with the bag and the gloves and just be like, y'all done fucked up, let me in here. I really want to be about that life. But, so Friday nights, my parents would take us to the roller skating rink and we'd be in there having a blast and I would see all the people who were Seventh-day Adventists, and from Sunset Friday to Sunset Saturday, you're supposed to be, at least back then, you were supposed to be inside. You were supposed to be having worship, you were supposed to be praying, you were supposed to be singing hymns, you were not supposed to be out anywhere. And if you were anywhere, it needed to be at church praying and prepping for church the next day. But I would be at the skating rink watching all kinds of people from the church, old and young, out there skating to some I don't know why Ray J was the first artist that came to mind. I have not heard a Ray J song in forever. Do y'all remember New Boys? Do y'all remember Mindless Behavior? That was an era. Do you remember when T-Pain first came out and nobody really knew that T-Pain could sing yet? Chris Brown, Wall to Wall, that's the time period I'm talking about. And I'd be in there and they'd be in there skating. People would be trying to holler. Deacons from the church trying to holler at women who ain't their wives. I could have been so messy. I was actually just... this humor, okay? So, just being funny. I was joking with my sister. I was like, could you imagine? Because, back when we were growing up, what would happen is when church would be getting really boring and the children's service stuff was over, me and my friends would be out in the halls running around and we'd be out there playing pretend. And we would, because we were very we want to be good church kids, instead of playing cops and robbers, or instead of playing one of my favorite games to play was, pretending that I was in the X-Men, and I always ended up being Mystique because everybody else was always like, I'm Kitty, or I'm Jean Grey, and I was like, well, Jean Grey's kind of OP, so you can't play with us. But I was always like, I'm Mystique, but how are you supposed to pretend that you're Mystique? Because it's you then have to you have to tell people what your plan is in the game. So I'd walk up to somebody and be like, yeah, so I'm the banker. And they're like, but we know you're not the banker. We know it's you because you're acting as Mystique. And I was like, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why I can't fucking play with y'all. Y'all are the type of people who are like, you didn't hit me. I had a shield. I had a shield up. Fuck out of here. But anywho, we would be playing out in the like in the hallways of the church, and the deacons would always be out there on some, you need to get back in the sanctuary. And bro, how come every deacon and deaconess at church, 29 minutes and 29 seconds as I say this, how come every deacon or deaconess at church back in the day, their breath smelled like dentures, not menthols, dentures, Altoids, and coffee? The worst possible mix. I was like, listen, there is no way that your Lord and Savior is approving, of you coming in here smelling like this. There is just no way. There is no way in hell that this is what is awaiting me in the kingdom of heaven. If this is at the gates and it's going to hit me when nah, bro. Ground level. I'm hitting that ground level in the elevator, bro. I'm not about it. But, they would grab your arm real tight and be like, hey, because that's always how they started. Like, hey, you need to be in church. And I was joking with my sister. I was like, what if at the time I had been like, are you sure I need to be in church? Because I could tell your wife where you were last night. Are you sure? Are you sure you want these problems? But I wasn't a spicy kid. I, as the oldest child, was like, I want to be the goodest girl. I want everybody to love me. I want everybody to respect me. And I'm just trying to be a good angel. There were a couple times where I did not care. There was, story time. There was a girl, and she was one of our friends. Like, she was one of the friends we used to run around with, at church. And I had heard from some very reliable sources that they were talking shit about my sister who is 3 years younger than me. And at the time, we were like this. We were locked in. And I heard that and I was like, hey, yo, ain't nobody calling my sister a hoe but me, bro. Ain't nobody doing that. We're not doing that. And so I made sure that I checked the sources. I made sure that I did my research, because I always am like, guys, do your research. I did my research and I found it to be true. And I rolled up to her. I'll never forget. This was probably the moment that my grandparents were like, we can't take her to church no more. And I was not a fighter. I'm small, guys. I'm petite. And I, at the age of like 16, weighed like 95 pounds and I was like 5'1". Like, I was not little, but I was pretty little. All of my siblings are taller than me. I lost in the height Olympics. I am what we in the business call vertically challenged. And I rolled up to this girl and she was like, hey, Yasha. And I was like, don't hey, Yasha me. I was like, if I ever hear that you're talking shit about my sister, and if I find out that my sister's name in your mouth, I am beating your ass. And I said it in front of the church. I said that to her. And I was like, 32 minutes and 32 seconds as I'm saying this. So somebody in these comments is about this life. I was like, and you can tell your mama that I said that, because if she comes over here, my parents will beat her ass too. Because my parents were always very like, hey, yo, stand up for each other. Don't let anybody bully you. So they were in full support. She runs back crying. Like, you weren't crying when you was talking all that shit earlier? Bruh. It always be the people who are talking the most shit, and then when you call them on it and they're like, I was just kidding, it was just a joke. No, the fuck it wasn't. And she told her mom, and her mom told my grandmother. And so I found out about it like a while after, and my grandmother was like, you need to apologize. And I was like, no. Why am I apologizing? I meant what I said. I'm not a liar. If I find that out, I'm throwing hands. And then my mom came and was like, what happened? And I told her exactly what happened. And my mom was like, that little girl shouldn't have been talking about Yasha's sister. And I was like, you know how you be sitting as the employee when your manager comes up and tells the customer exactly what you told me? You be sitting there like, how you feel? I'll never forget that, because it was really me coming out, because I was so angry. I've never been angry enough to put myself in harm's way on behalf of another person. And it really wasn't harm's way, because ain't nobody was going to do anything. The girl I was talking to was built like me, and she was not a fighter. I could have taken her. But as a non-fighter, I could have taken her. But yeah, I definitely was not the troublesome kid at church. I tried not to be. I was very like, please bless me to be the best me that I can be, you know, type shit. So I don't know why we got off on all of that. Again, I'm just feeling good. I'm just feeling lovely. I'm feeling jokey, and I'm having a good time. But yeah, I feel like a lot of things are changing. I actually had a very a vulnerable realization today, or 34 minutes and 44 seconds as I say this. So somebody in this chat, somebody watching this video has a sibling, and you guys are really close, and I love that for you. And I'm about to tell you something. So in other videos of mine, I have talked about being present in the moment that you're in. And the reason that this is so important is because things change. And even when good things happen and there's a change, you will never go back to the way it was before. So you may as well appreciate it and be in it when it is happening. And I had the realization this morning that as I am attracting this partner into my life, as I am manifesting this man, as I'm pretty sure he's manifesting me, and as my sister is getting very locked into herself, and she is also in a place where she's like, all right, I'm ready for, you know, my man to come along. I'm ready for a person. And she's been so good about, she had some not great relationships, and then she was like, you know what? I'm not doing this. And so she decided, I'm not doing any more relationships until I get to a point where I am happy with who I am as a person. And I applauded her for that, because I did not do that. I was very much so, I needed validation from other people. And so I just kept dating people in the hopes that I would just be better. Newsflash, that ain't happening. Surprise, surprise. And so she is also in the position of manifesting a partner. And I woke up this morning cheesing, because I had like a really nice dream. And you know, you ever have those dreams where like you can't see the person's face, like their facial features aren't there, but you know that this person loves you, and you know in the dream that that's your partner. I had one of those dreams where I was being loved on and I was being cared for, and he was on some, babe, would you like me to massage your feet? I was like, you better be careful before I massage something else. And and I woke up all cheesy, and I was very happy. And then I felt it. I felt a twinge in my chest, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I realized that as my sister and I are moving into these spaces where we are happy with other people, we won't be spending as much time together as we've been spending for the past couple of years, because at some point we won't be living together. We'll be living with our partners. And there's a high possibility that we'll be living in two different states. And I got really emotional about it because I'm very close to my sister, who again is 10 years younger than me, and we are very close, and I love her. I adore her so much. And it made me emotional because I was like, wow, my ride or die, my ace, is going to be out here happy, and I'm going to be so happy for her. And I'm going to be happy for me, and at the same time, I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss this situation. And so I just today have been talking to her and spending time with her and just really enjoying this time, because everything does change. Everything doth change. That's what we want. We want things to change. So, yeah, I had that realization. So I figured that was, I didn't think about it today as something to share, because these videos are all unscripted. For those of you who are watching this and you've never seen anything else of mine, they're all unscripted. So I just come in here and I yap and I just go off. Don't put me on a podcast with other people, because if you do that, I'll never shut the hell up. I'll be like, let's talk for 6 hours. It's like, how? How can you talk for that long? I can show you. I can show you how that's possible. It's so possible. It's so easy. It's so easy. When you spend 90% of your time in your own head creating things, and you're a creative person, it is a bottomless pit, especially if you're a person who's gotten into the point where I'm my most authentic self these days. So I don't mind sharing things with you guys. Again, I try to keep it from being in the realm of TMI, because there's some stuff that's just, hey, yo, that's private. But for the most part, I don't mind sharing a lot of things. I just think that's just kind of how I'm built. I was not a theater kid. I could have been a theater kid, but I actually was a theater person in college. And I will not forget, it was really funny because we had to do quick changes for a scene. And at some point during the quick changes, because of the costume I was wearing, I didn't have a bra on. So I would just be back there changing, girls out. And nobody cared. Nobody cared. It's literally like a locker room when it comes to theater kids. If you are a theater kid or you enjoy theater, like, put that in the comments. Or if you have questions about, are theater kids actually annoying? We can be. Theater people can be very annoying because they break out into song and they're like, you know, always looking for an excuse to sing and to show you that they have talent. So I've known theater people who they'll be like, what's that movie? You know, it's that one where it's like, and you're like, okay, you didn't have to do all that. That was a lot. You doing too much. They can be. But, I used to change, and I'll never forget, there was somebody who, he was one of the costume people, and he was helping me at one point, and at some point, like, my tit, like, kind of fell out of the, like, bralette that he was helping me put on, and the reason I was so comfortable with that situation was because he, like, I just known him for a while, and so I was like, oh, and he was just like, bloop, and he just put it back in and everything, and I was like, I can't believe you did that and didn't like say anything about it. And he was like, what? Like, it's just your boob. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's wild. So I'm not a person who's like super concerned with like super privacy. Like, if I am with people who are concerned about their privacy, I keep that shit on lock. So I told my family, I was like, I do these authenticity videos on YouTube and I try not to talk about anything that's going to be like it could be seen as defamation, or like I try to keep things above board and really be very vague and general about stuff. I try not to go into detailed situations, and each of them were like, you know, thank you, we really appreciate that. But a good chunk of my family members have been in entertainment or are currently like very like out there, so they're kind of like, I don't really care. I still want to keep people's privacy. I think that's it's a worthwhile thing to do, endeavor. Like, if you are a entertaining personality or you're a person who's going to be out there, I always would say ask permission. If you are talking about somebody specific, and like use different names if you can, be very vague, you know, because people trust you. Some people trust you. And so you don't want to, you know, kind of poo-poo all over that trust by talking about their personal lives, you know, and other people can see it and know it and all that stuff. So, but yeah, so I don't know how we got on the topic that I'm on right now. That's crazy. It used to be that I would do these videos and at like the 15-minute mark, I was like, I have nothing else to say. And now my videos are clocking an hour and 15, an hour and 20. I think I had an hour and a half video not too long ago. So I can talk forever. It's so easy. But I think it's because I'm alone in here. Like, if I was around other people and if those people were draining people, I wouldn't be able to talk this long. I'd be like, okay, so I'm fucking bored and I'm about to crash out and lose it. But I am frequently, like, there's some people I talk to and I'm constantly on the verge of airing out the whole place. Like, I'm constantly on the verge of crashing out. And it's just because the conversation is just so boring. And it's like, if it's a special interest, I'm not bored with people's special interest. Talk to me, baby. Let me get a clipboard. Let me get a drink. Let me get comfortable. Let me throw on my PJs and I'll sit down and I'll talk to you about your special interest all day. Also, some of you put under one of my videos your special interest. Somebody commented that their special interest is witch shit. I love that. I love that. And for those of you that don't know, like, people who do like witch shit or they do spiritual shit, that stuff's actually incredibly entertaining. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff. It's like, you go into somebody's house and they'll have candles, they'll have crystals everywhere, they got hella jewelry, they've got black outfits, they got black everywhere, you know, It's just a whole vibe. And really, it's funny because I actually have seen a lot of like parallels between, or not parallels, but like a connection between people who are kind of maximalists. So it's like they love having just as much stuff as possible, and then they become like spiritual people, and so they like have all of these really weird stuff that they use. So like I occasionally will do like if I'm trying to figure, oh, where am I going to go or what I'm going to do, I have like a thing that I use as a pendulum, but actually what it is it's a string that broke off. It's a chain that broke off from a fan. And I was like, this is really pretty because it has like a clear quartz, like it's not clear quartz, it's actually like plastic, but it's glass. And I was like, I'm finna use this. I use so many random bits of like what some people would consider garbage. Like I'm finna go Skyrim on y'all and be like, some call this junk, me, I call them treasures. Bro, there are so many lines from Skyrim that are just so quotable. I used to be an adventurer like you, and then I took an arrow to the knee. Do you go to the Cloud District often? What am I talking about? Of course you don't. Nazim can catch these hands. Every time I load up Skyrim and I pass him, I'm like, yo, I want to fight this man. He is probably the person who makes me the most angry in that game. And there's so many other people. Like, Molag Bal is the worst. Molag Bal sucks. Like, the Daedra. And the Daedra just be playing with people's lives. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But, they have a reason to be assholes. But Nazim is no one. Nobody cares about you. And you be asking me if I go to the Cloud District often. Because he's essentially saying that I'm poor. And I'm like, you know what? I might be poor, but I also can run these hands. Because he really can catch these hands. He really can. I will sometimes go and I will find videos on YouTube of people absolutely rocking Nazim shit. And I'm like, yes, he deserves every piece. Beat his ass. I get so excited. I'm not gonna lie to you. What are some other Skyrim quotes? I'd be mad that the guards don't be respecting you once you become the Dragonborn. Spoilers for this game, but Skyrim's been out for like 10 years. So if you have not played the game or watched some videos, you should watch some videos. Honestly, you should play the game. I always recommend people play it on PC because you can download mods and stuff that will like remove the bugs, because Skyrim is super buggy. It can be very buggy. And the guards won't really respect you as the Dragonborn. I also don't like how some of the guilds will still treat you like you're a whelp, if you will, even though you become the head of the guild. So it's like, I'm the head of the Dark Brotherhood. I can kill anyone. I have so many, this is a video game that I'm speaking about, YouTube, but I have so many kills under my belt, and you have the audacity to be like, hey, watch it. No, you watch it. I'm a unit. I could fuck you up right now. And that'll just be it. That'll be all she wrote, bro. Test me. Watch your step. Bro, get the fuck out. But the guards will be like, hands to yourself, sneak thief, when I'm not playing like a thief run. And I'm like a bard. Or I'm like a, I'm like a tank. Like I'm playing like the companion storyline, and they'll be like, hands to yourself, sneak thief. And I'm like, just for that? I'ma steal. I'ma walk right into this house that you walk by and I'ma steal something. In fact, no, I'm finna pickpocket you. I'ma take the 5 gold that you be walking around with, and then I'ma steal your helmet right off your head. Of course, you can't do that if you don't have any like points at sneak. They'll just turn around and be like, I'm taking you to jail, and then you either have to bribe them. Bro, leveling up speech in Skyrim is actually pretty great. I recommend it. One of my favorite things to do is I like to play as like a again, I love to play video games and I like to role play them as though I am actually in the game. So all of my characters end up looking like me. I know a lot of people will go in and they build like characters that look super pooty and super funny, and I love that, but I can't bring myself to do it. I've tried to do it. I've tried to do in character builders. I've tried to give them like really big heads, make their skin pink or purple. Like I've really tried to do that, but then I'm like, but it's not accurate to the lore. My lore. So I always play a red guard in Skyrim, or I play a dark elf. And then I love to do magic in particular. Sneaking, archery is one of my favorites. The kill cams in Skyrim are fucking funny, because one of my favorite glitches that happens in Skyrim that pisses me off when it happens, but I always laugh right afterwards, is when you shoot like a skeleton and then, or you shoot at a person and they're like standing like this and then they slide to like one side and slide back after the arrow passes. That shit is so funny to me every time it happens. And I'm like, I can't believe you disrespected me like this. But also that was hilarious. I love Skyrim glitches. Like, they end up being really, really funny. But yeah, no. I've been playing Skyrim for... It's at least been 9 years. One of the guys I dated a long time ago, I remember how I stumbled upon Skyrim. Interesting story. I don't really have like a lot of tips right now in the video, so this is just kind of like a story time type situation. There was a guy I was dating, and I went to his family's home, and one of his sisters... I love when the guys that I date have sisters, you know, or the guys who I've been in a relationship. If they had sisters, I fucking loved it, because there is a natural girlhood for me that would happen, because every person that I've dated who, you know, in the past, who has had sisters, we become very close. Because I'm a girl's girl. I'm very like, I'm finna hype you up if your outfit looks good. If it doesn't look good, girl, I'm gonna tell you, but I'm gonna make some recommendations so that you're not out here looking booty, because I can't have my girl out here looking booty. And also then, you know, thinking about marriage, and it's like, if I'm getting married, like, I want, you know, having sister-in-laws would be so dope. Like, I have 2 sisters already, but I'm greedy. Like, give me the family. But his sister was playing Skyrim, and I got there, and they were all doing other stuff, and I was going to help with, you know, dinner that night. And that's when I realized I had to make some changes, because I was in the kitchen cooking, and my boyfriend at the time he was doing it wrong. Making spaghetti is an art. Making spaghetti sauce is an art. It's like, but Yasha, there's bottled spaghetti sauce at the store and you just pour it in the pot, right? No. Are you crazy? No, you put seasonings in there. You add vegetables in there. You saute up and you cook up vegetables and you put them in there. You add various meats, andouille sausage, meatballs, grilled chicken. You have the power. The sauce that you get at the store in the bottle is just the base. It's the base. There's no taste in there. I really want to do like a cooking stream now. I really want to be like, yo, so here's how we finna cook this. And then for those of you that actually do cook, I would love to get tips from you. Like a way to really bulk up your spaghetti sauce. I've heard you can use cornstarch, and I think you can use flour. I make a mean vegetarian spaghetti. Because my dad, because of some stuff that has been going on with his health for years, he's always been like, you know what, vegetarian. So my dad tends to lean vegetarian. So one of the things I took it upon myself to learn, because I always want to feed the people who are closest to me, is I started to learn how to make vegetarian dishes for him. And so vegetarian spaghetti is my specialty. I always use the Morningstar griller crumbles. Very good. They're not seasoned already, and you have to season the shit out of vegetarian food if you want it to taste good. It's not going to taste exactly like meat. It's not going to. If you're going vegetarian and you're like, I want my vegetarian food to taste like meat, you already starting off wrong, fam. You already starting off wrong. Because the odds are you're going to go to a restaurant and you're going to order that faux meat, that chicken that's spelt CHKN with an apostrophe between the K and the N, and you'll be sorely disappointed, and you'll be in the bathroom looking at yourself like, do I really want to be vegetarian? Like, you'll doubt. You'll have doubts. You'll have a whole crisis in there. But, no, yeah. Like, he was like, this is what we finna do with spaghetti. And I was like, so I almost crashed out on him, honestly. And I'm so glad that I was patient. And I was like, no, let me not do this. Because then the sister's boyfriends were there too. So it was like the parents, and then the sister's boyfriends, and then me and my boyfriend at the time. And I was like, I got it. I ended up cooking dinner. I was like, you can head out. My love, go sit at the table with your sister. Please. Please stop. And I'm not that way anymore. I actually do enjoy having people in the kitchen to cook. It took many years to get used to this. It took many a year for me to adjust and get the stick out of my ass. But I used to hate having people in the kitchen try to cook alongside me. It's like, what are you doing in here? there can only be one. This is not a, let's all just know. No, you can stand outside the kitchen and talk to me. You could give me things that I need. You could wash dishes and dry. I don't need you also cooking. But anyways, his sister was playing Skyrim, and she was like, Yasha, she was so sweet. She was like, Yasha, I made a character that looks just like you. And I was like, what? Because this was before I realized that role-playing games where you had all of these options to create your character existed. So I went over to the table and I sat down, and she had made a character that looked just like me. At the time, my hair was straightened, and it was shoulder length, and it was red. Y'all listen, if there's one thing I miss, it's dyeing my hair red. And that's part of the reason I'm growing my hair back out, because I miss doing fun things with my hair. But I'm very big on making sure that I do it healthily, so this abundance that's coming through is definitely going to support me going to an actual person who can help me make sure that when I dye my hair, it's not completely damaged and fried, because that would make me very sad indeed. But she made a character that looked just like me, and just like that, I was hooked. I was like, what is this? What is Skyrim? And she was like, well, it's a game where you can play in third person, or you can play in first person. You can change the camera angles, and it's in like medieval times, and there are dragons and magic and werewolves and vampires. And I was like, shut up and take my money. Oh my gosh, I will never forget. That's when I fell in love with Skyrim. It was the first video game that I absolutely, like, as an adult, fell in love with. Because before, when I was younger, I played Project Gotham, which is a racing game. It's a car racing game. My dad used to whoop my ass. The Volkswagen Beetle was the best car to race. It wasn't very fast, but anything where it was turns, you could take tight turns in that Volkswagen Beetle. That's actually the car I ended up taking my driving test in when I got old enough to drive. 55 minutes and 55 seconds as I say that. So if you are a person who doesn't know how to drive and you're learning, good on you. Congrats. Learning to drive can be difficult, especially here in Florida, where people don't care about their lives or your life. It's very crazy. People be out here doing the wildest stuff, and then even the cops be out here doing wild stuff, and it's like, hey yo, should I make a citizen's arrest? Do I need to punch it right now and put my little light on top of the car and then have the 70s music, the waka chicka waka chicka waka chicka waka chicka, like, as I am chasing them down? Is that what I need to do? I don't have time to make a citizen's arrest though. I don't have time to do that. But, yeah. I played Project Gotham. I played Zelda Wind Waker. I also played Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I do not remember finishing those games, though. Because at the time, when there were hard stuff, you couldn't go online and look up the secrets. So I would just be like, I can't continue. And then I just wouldn't continue. What else did I play? Mortal Kombat Deception, bro. Story mode, ass. But at the time, it was cute for the times. I love that game. That game was so much fun. What else? I also played a lot of Pac-Man. And then I played, like, there were a couple of games, like, there was, like, it was like a joystick that had games built into the joystick, like into the little box that the joystick was sitting on, that you could play, and you could just hook it up to your TV, and there were all of these different games. And my favorite little game was the ostrich game, where it would be you and another person, and you guys would be on these ostriches, and it was platforms, and it was, the background was black and the platforms were always pink, and you would hop up, and then like lava would be rising, and you would have to hop up on these things, and it was so much fun. I loved it. 57 minutes and 57 seconds as I'm saying that. So somebody who's watching this video is a gamer and you like video games, I would like for you to put in the comments. You don't have to. Disclaimer, you never have to engage with any of my content if you don't feel like it. My feelings will not be hurt. But I would love to see what some of y'all's favorite video games are. If you are a gamer, how long have you been gaming? And then I would like to know what your favorite video game is as of right now. And I would like to know why. But you don't have to type all of that. I know some people just aren't into it. Like, that's a lot to have to do. Bro, I feel like I really could beat somebody's ass with these. Like, I could lay a person out. They'd be like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of things coming at my face. But yeah. So those are the types of games I played when I was younger. I played a lot of computer games. So like the Barbie website, Ooh, and then on Xbox, oh, hold up. I played the Obi-Wan game. I played the Clone Wars game. I played, it was like a Star Wars game where you spent the whole game in the Starfighter jet. And I was legit at that. I was so good at that. Yes, I love that. There was a Shrek game that I played. I believe it was on Xbox. Where it was like a 4-player game. You could play 4 people. Hero time. We played the SpongeBob game. That was really good, and it's actually remastered. It's been redone, so my sister has played through that. And it's just so much fun. I love it. So yeah, like those were kind of the video games that I played back in the day when I was younger. I remember when we used to play Mortal Kombat, my mom would come in and she would be like, she would take like the controller and she'd figure it out and she'd turn the blood off. And then after she would leave, Mom, if you see this video, it's many years later. So everything's good now. But my dad would be like, nah, turn the blood back up. Because it's like, what's the point? It's like, no, I need to see the damage I'm doing. I need to see this person screaming in pain as I am absolutely rocking their shit. So that was really fun. I don't know why I started Skyrim. I think that's why I started talking about video games. Skyrim is the first game that I played and really felt like I want to live here. Like, again, I would love to have like a room or a portion of my home that's very medieval like. And if not, you know, if my partner's like, nah, I don't want to do that, we can have a modern home and I'll just go to every Renaissance fair ever. I can do that. I can make that happen. I can make that work. I love Renaissance fairs. It's so great. I would like, for the next time when I do a Renaissance fair situation, I would love to get my own mug. Because I saw people carrying around mugs because, like, you can, like, get drink in your own mug. And I was like, that sounds amazing. Bro, those turkey legs, like the big old turkey legs, gosh. That's the whole reason to go. Right there. To be on big back activities. Big back activities, let's go. The turkey leg is really good. I wanted to see the jousting last time, but it started to get late, and I was like, I'm kind of tired and my feet kind of hurt, and there's really no place to sit down. But yeah, Renaissance fairs are dope. Renaissance fairs, cons, I love that shit. I love it. Yeah. As a tip for anybody who is looking to go to a con and you've never gone before, something that I would do is go onto the website that's talking about the con and look at the events list. Because when you go to a con, it's very similar to like a conference, like an educational conference or like a, you know, like a research conference. So you essentially will go to like an event center and then you'll go, and then typically in like the big rooms, there'll be tables where people have things, you know, there'll be people you can meet and take pictures with. There'll be merchandise from different shows and stuff. And different video games. But then in the rooms there will be events that are happening. So you'll have like a karaoke session, or you'll have like a costume contest, or you'll have a panel where people are talking. And something that I didn't do was I didn't look it up before myself and my best friend went when we went to Otaku Fest in Miami. And as a result, the first day I was just so overwhelmed with the massive amount of stuff that there was to do. I literally opened the pamphlet and I looked at everything that there was to do, and my brain didn't retain any of it because I was like, oh, this is such a new situation. If I did that again, if I was going to do a con again, the first thing I would do is look at what's going to happen, and then I would mark what I wanted to go do. Because there's so much, and some of the stuff you may not even be interested in. So like for me, there were a couple of voice actors that were there that I wanted to meet, who were there, and they did the dub, and I was like, oh my gosh, I could have met them. He was right there. I could have taken a picture. I could have gotten an autograph. I could have asked questions. You know, it could have been a good time. And it was still a good time. But I definitely have things that I'm going to be doing differently. I'm not wearing a full face of makeup. Won't be doing it. I respect the people that do, that they wear a full face of makeup to cons. I am so inspired by people who do that. But as for me, nah, bro. Because if I'm hot and I'm sweaty and I'm wiping my face and my hands are covered in makeup, or my gloves or whatever I'm wearing and touching is covered in makeup, I'm gonna crash out. I'm gonna crash out. It's gonna be a whole thing. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that stream tonight. It was really fun. I had a really good time. It's just really cool. It's just really, really cool to be doing things at my age and to be kind of stepping out of my comfort zone and doing things and feeling better, and then seeing that my comfort zone has expanded. Like, I like that. Like, I'm not nervous about going to another con because I've gone to one. So I'm never going to be nervous going to one again, because I know even if it's a bigger con than that, or if it's in a different state, like, again, I really want to go to PAX East. I really want to go to PAX East this year, and I am manifesting the funds to do so. But then I would also have to be manifesting the funds to do an outfit. I don't know. I might just wear this, if I'm honest, because I might wear this wig and then just do that. Because people dress up. They dress up in, like, character-related things. But, I mean, those types of events are not just for the people who dress up and they're very serious about cons. It's also for people who just want to go and have a good time. You know, you definitely have your veterans who they take it very seriously, and I respect the grind. I respect the craft. But for years, one of the big reasons why I didn't do it, the reason why my first con happened, the first con that I ever went to happened last year, is because I was afraid of the people who take it so seriously. It's one of the reasons why playing video games online with other people was hard, because I always felt like other people took it really seriously. And really seriously meaning, like, it's like, if I get in here and I'm telling you I'm not good, I don't have the time to get good at this game because of how my family is set up. Ooh, ears are ringing. So maybe this is for, and 5 minutes and 55 seconds as I'm saying this. So this is for somebody. Your situation that you were in when you grew up was not your fault. Whatever that situation was. For me, my family was not drowning in finances. We'll just say it like that. And as a result, because of culturally how I was raised, there were things that we just didn't do. So there would be people who I'd be like, man, I really wish I had played video games as a kid, like more video games. And it's like, I wish I could have gone and stood outside the store when a new game was released so that I could have it. Like, I really wish I could have had those experiences. And people are like, well, you know, you could have just gone. And it's like, you don't understand. You don't understand. The family dynamic that I had was very different. And being an oldest child, I was made responsible for a lot of stuff. And so any money that I had went to the family. Or, you know, I was just like really like, oh, well, if I have some money, let me get like, you know, this thing, like in order to play a video game, you need a console. And like the consoles that we had were not ours. They were my dad's, because my dad was a gamer. My dad was very much so into graphic novels and like comic books and games. And he actually watched anime. He's the reason I ended up watching Dragon Ball. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then the episodes where everybody would be breathing for forever would happen. And I was like, wait, no, I don't like this. Like, I'm really impatient. I'm a child. I can't do this. And then later in life, I stumbled upon, I used to watch Naruto, and that was great. It was like one of the OG shows. But then I really got into it when I watched Hellsing, and I was like, oh my gosh, wait, anime can be dark? Like, it can be dark? That's when I got excited. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And that's actually it was one of the outfits I had always wanted to, one of the cosplays I always wanted to do was I wanted to dress up as Alucard. And I did. And I have pictures of it, but the pictures at the apartment were better because I had the glasses on. You could see everything, but when I went to the con and my face was sweating and my makeup was getting all over my gloves, so then you couldn't see like the symbol, and then the glasses were making my eyes hurt because I didn't account for the fact that I wouldn't be able to wear my glasses because I don't have contacts yet. I couldn't wear my glasses with the red glasses, and then I couldn't see colors. And I'm actually already a little colorblind. So I would have those glasses on, and then we would go up to where all of the artwork and all of like the stalls were, all of the, you know, where the event tables were to see stuff. And I was like, I can't see. So, and then it was hot as hell. And I was like, yeah, if I'm going to a con in May anywhere, I'm not wearing that. I'm not wearing anything super duper heavy. But that coat is fly, though. The coat that I have, I could wear that with something else. Like, model status level coat. Whee! I'm just very moved to bring this back for anybody who wants to see it. But yeah, if you grew up in like a family situation that other people don't get, you are not alone. It can be very hard finding, you know, or not finding people, but when you're in a diverse friend group, sometimes something that can sometimes happen is that your experiences are not validated because the majority of the friend group didn't experience that. So the whole, I didn't sneak out because my dad was crazy. Sneaking out wasn't happening. Just wasn't happening. And the amount of girls that I would go to school with, and I'd be like, yeah, I really wish I could go to this concert with you guys, but I don't have any money. And they'd be like, what do you mean? Like, don't you get an allowance? No. The way my parents was it was very much so, why would we give you an allowance to do shit you're supposed to do? Like clean your room. Like, you're supposed to do that. I'm not paying you. Now, of course, if I am a parent, ooh, it's a bug. One moment, everyone, while I handle this situation. Where do you think you're going? Where'd you go? Please don't crawl on me. Please be cool. Please be chill. Got his ass. You picked the wrong closet to crawl up into today, my guy. And now I'm gonna sit on him. No, I'm sitting on a towel. I always bring a towel in here because I don't like how the carpet feels, so I always bring a towel. So now that he is dead, I will pick up his tiny corpse with toilet paper after I get done with this video, but he is actually underneath the towel, very dead, so I am safe. But yeah, and I had said that in a video at some point. I was like, damn, what am I gonna do if I see a bug? And you got to see it first, America. Ooh, an hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds. So yeah, your experience is super valid, and just because you didn't have the same experiences as other people doesn't mean that your childhood was any less than. The things that happened to you made you who you are right now. And while I know that there are bad things, like for me, ooh, my ears are ringing, there are things that happened in my childhood that I wish hadn't happened. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that my parents did, that people around me did, that family members did, that I did, that I really wish I hadn't done. But the truth of the matter is I'm in such a great place now because of everything that happened, not in spite of it. And so for me, I wouldn't go back and change anything. If I went back, I would just observe from an outside perspective and see kind of what was happening in the world and what was going on. But I would not change anything. And for you, I know that there are things, and maybe some of you would go back and you would change things. And that is completely, like, I would support that if somebody wanted to go do that. Would you? If you're still watching this video, I would love in the comments to see if you would go back and if you would change something. You don't have to tell me what it is, obviously, because that's probably really personal, but if you had the ability to time travel and you could go back, would you go back? Ooh, a good question that I like. In 12 minutes and 34 seconds as I say this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And that in numerology to me represents a path, like you're on the right path. So this is a perfect line of questioning. If you could go back and tell yourself at any age, you can pick any age to go to once. If you were told you can go back to one point in your life and you can tell your younger self something, what would you tell them? What would you go back and tell them? Me? I would go back to me at 16 years old. Even though I am not Hispanic, I have a godmother who actually, is she my no, I don't think she's my godmother. She's my aunt. And she was very close to my parents. And she recommended that I have a quinceañera when I turned 16. And which was interesting because quince isn't that 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, so it's 15. So a quinceañera is typically what happens when you're 15, but I was 16. and we kind of made it our own situation. And at that point in my life, I was really struggling with not having a companion. It was at that time that it really started to settle into my spirit that I felt like there was a person out there for me and I had not met them yet. And it's really weird, like that whole soulmate, like finding your soulmate thing. Again, I was very against this idea growing up because I didn't see romance stories or fantasy stories where people fell in love, where people that look like me had that. And so because I didn't see it, I was like, well, since I don't get to have it, bump it. And then I was also raised in a society at that time that was very heavily against being feminine in any type of way. So wanting romance, wanting to be taken care of and loved, wanting to be with a man who, you know, cuddles you and loves on you and wants to be cuddled and wants to be loved, like that just wasn't something that you talked about because it was seen as being feminine, and anything feminine was stupid or weak at the time. Some people still believe that, but fuck them. But it was at that point, it was the night that I was having my quinceañera, and the party was happening and music was happening, and at some point I was alone. Like I was just kind of standing there and everybody else was engaged and everybody else was like kind of talking to each other and stuff, and I noticed a lot of couples in the room. And it snowed that night. And I went over to the window because it was in like a penthouse in a hotel. Like my mom really, she went off. Like she found the deals, she found the coupons, she got the sponsors, like she did it all. My Sweet 16 was definitely a bop. It was a whole bop. And I looked out the window and I was like, what is this hole in my spirit? Where is my person? And if I could go back now, I would go back and I would tell her it's going to be worth it. 15 minutes and 55 seconds as I say that. So 3 5s. Change, alignment, travel. I would tell her it's going to be okay. A, trust me. B, you are beautiful. I know you don't feel like it. I know you feel like an ugly duckling. I know that because you don't really have a sense of fashion, you feel ugly. Because you don't wear makeup, you're not allowed to wear makeup because your mom is very heavily against that. I know you feel ugly. I know you feel like a weirdo, and I know you feel like you're not gonna find your people. Even being friends with people who are weirdos, you still feel like a weirdo. You still don't feel like you're at home. You never feel at home. You will. It's gonna be okay, trust me. I wish I could tell her that. I wish I could tell her that. And I wish I could tell her at that time, yo, shadow work, get into it. Get into working through some of the trauma. And I know some people are like, you were 16, but you know, 16-year-olds are dealing with heavy stuff. So I mean, I was dealing with pretty heavy stuff, so I might as well. But again, I wouldn't really go back and tell her that because it would change it would change the entirety of how my life goes. And I have, you know, I have an inkling that this man who is coming, you know, the only reason we're going to be locked in is because of everything that happened. I am the type of person that I am. I am living as my most authentic self, and that is what is going to draw this person to me. And he's going to be living as his most authentic self because game recognizes game, you know? Like attracts like. Come on now. So I think that's what I have for you all tonight. I think that's all I got. Thank you for allowing me to yap you guys' ears off. You guys are amazing and wonderful. What did I say I was going to put in the comments? Something on Spotify. I got it. It was the violent stuff, so I'm going to go find that. And what's crazy is, for those of you that don't know, like if you don't post YouTube videos, after I record a video on this phone, I immediately go to upload it to YouTube, and it will pull up a page where I can title the video, I can put the description, and it gives me a couple of different settings. When I fill that out, the next page, it'll say upload video, and I upload the video, and then it starts uploading. And I can't do anything while it's uploading. While the process is happening, I can't do anything. And if I come out of that tab on my phone, because I have an Android, guilty as charged, if I come out of that tab and I end up reloading something by accident on the internet, I have to start over with the trying to upload it again. So that's why sometimes I will go back into my description and I'll edit things. So if you are one of the people who are watching this video first thing in the morning, check back, you know, in like an hour to see if the description has changed. It shouldn't be. But sometimes I move to go in and change the description and add something or put something else in there after I'm done with the video. Because sometimes I won't mention something and then I stop this video and I'm like, woo! And as I am uploading it, I'll get like a download, or I'll be moved to be like, hey, yo, in the description, you need to put this thing because somebody's going to need to see it. 19 minutes and 19 seconds as I say that. So yeah, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your good vibes. I appreciate your support of each other and the comments and your likes. And this is great. And I'm really happy that you guys can be on this journey with me, like my authenticity tour and my journey as my life is happening and as things are happening. And I really look forward to things happening and the people who are following me right now being with me on this journey. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea. I think it would be cool to be a person who does this and gets paid to talk or to advise or to guide, or a person who kind of is there to help other people. I think it would be cool to get paid to do this. I think it would be really cool if my YouTube channel like blew up at some point and it allowed me to do workshops or to do things where I can kind of create a community space where people can be their most authentic selves and have a good time. I think that'd be really cool. So if this time, you know, next year that happens, I have these videos as kind of like a video journaling situation. And then you guys could have been there and you could have seen it all work out. And if it doesn't work out, then you and I will both be looking at each other in a video at that point like this. God damn. But anywho, much love to you guys. I hope you enjoy, after you finish this video, the next 12 hours. I hope those next 12 hours are amazing. I hope they're incredible. I hope you feel loved. I hope you feel protected. I hope that you feel supported. I hope that those vibes find you. Even if you're in a situation where in your physical reality you don't feel that, I am sending every bit of love and support that I have through this goddamn phone. I want that for you. I want happiness for you. I want joy for you. I want relationships for you. I want growth for you. You know, I want abundance for you. For those of you who are ready to have a baby, I want babies for you. I want you to be able to have that big family that you want, in the ranch with the wraparound porch and the rocking chairs and the farm and the barn. I don't know who that's for, but I want all of that for you. Mwah. I love you guys, and I will holler at you tomorrow night, par usual. Yeah. I love you guys. Okay, bye.